Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Tani Nolenberger and I own Ivy Weddings and Events in San Diego, California. Today we are talking about your 2022 wedding trends. If you are new to the channel or just stopping by, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We talk all things weddings, so we create, educate, and have a ridiculously good time. Okay, my friends, so we are talking about your 2022 wedding trends today. It's been kind of a very wonky last 2 years, I'm not gonna lie. With all the postponements from 2020 going into 2021, and still a lot of 2021 wasn't the norm for weddings and wedding planning in general. Wedding trends have just kind of shifted a lot these last 2 years. So we're going to kind of go over what you're going to be seeing more of, what I could predict as far as decor and design inspirations. And I want to hear from you. What are you guys planning for your wedding? Do you fall into any of these categories? Do you love it, hate it? Give me some comments down below. First up, as a wedding planner, is wedding registries we're going to talk about. So a lot of couples are steering away from the traditional online physical gift registry as far as weddings go, and more are accepting, as well as families are accepting, online cash registries. This is for a couple different reasons. I think, as you all know, a lot of us are already living together before we get married. So unlike back in the day when you weren't really doing that quite yet, you needed things for your home and appliances, but now we're all living together before we even get engaged. And so we don't really need all those homey things that we once did. I think a lot of couples the age group is also getting married later. Right now, the millennials are getting married. They're in their 30s, early to mid 30s right now. And they already have a lot of physical assets. And so they're looking for cash registries, things like Honey Fund. Birdie is a really great one for their guests to donate to their registry. And that could go towards honeymoon or basically whatever they want. So one thing that I want you guys to know is that a lot of these online registries like Honey Fund actually take a percentage of your money, which is kind of crazy. If someone is gifting you something and they're like, oh, let me get a 5% of that gift, why would you ever use that service? But if you're fine with that, it's something to consider. There's this new online cash registry called Birdie where they don't do that. And I'll be sure to link my Birdie code below so you guys could sign up to use it. They don't charge you, the couple, they don't take any of your money, and they shouldn't take any of your money. It's yours. What they do is that, say for me, if I'm the giver gifting you, say $100 towards your cash registry on Birdie, Birdie charges me, the giver, $5. That's it, $5. So whether I gift you $100 or $1,000, they only charge me an extra $5. And you get to keep your money 100%. Doesn't that sound fabulous? Why don't people know about this? I'm telling you about it. It's brand spanking new, and they just launched within the last year. And like I said, it's such a benefit for you because you should be keeping all of that cash. So you're going to see a lot more cash registries and people linking them to their wedding websites. So make sure you sign up for Birdie today if you don't have your cash registry and that's something that you do want to do. Okay, wedding traditions on the rise, or some that are just simply fading away. So a lot of couples are opting out of the traditional garter belt toss and bouquet toss. I think for a couple reasons. One, the garter belt toss was, I think, the first to go. People feel a little shameful, I don't know is the right word, lifting up your pretty bride's gown in front of grandma, using your teeth and taking something off the leg, which seems like a very intimate moment, which used to be kind of just like fun, a little gimmicky, but I think people are just opting out of that altogether. And the bouquet toss I'm seeing less and less of, and I think it kind of goes back to, again, kind of people getting married a little bit later. So all of your friends are coupled up already. So when you're getting the single ladies out on the dance floor, there may not be that many anymore. So they're kind of getting rid of that altogether. I could see another reason why people aren't doing the bouquet toss is that if you're paying for an extra bouquet from your florist, I mean, that's extra money that you're literally tossing out the door. A lot of people just didn't see the value in that anymore. So those are two major things that I'm seeing kind of slowly flutter away. Another tradition that I am seeing less and less of, or none at all, is that money dance. And I think for a couple of reasons. One, people have cash registries now, right? So there's no need to get that extra money on the wedding day. And two, it takes quite a bit of time. And if you're new to the wedding world or you just got married, you know that your day goes by in a snap. And so to take that valuable time away from either hanging out and seeing your friends, your family members that have come to see you on your wedding day, just people didn't find the value in it anymore. So those two reasons I think why the money dance is kind of out the door as well. A big trend on the rise are statement pieces. And what I mean by that is you're seeing robust ceremony arches, those grand seating chart displays, or extra touches with your escort cards. These statement pieces that people are coming up with to really personalize their wedding day and enhance their guest experience. I think with the rise in the last within 10 years of how saturated the internet has become, especially with weddings. I know you all jump down that Pinterest hole. You know, they feel like they've seen it all, or they've been to a wedding and they've experienced it all. So couples are really wanting to add these wow factor statement pieces to their wedding to make it memorable, to make it stand out, and to increase their guest experience. That's why I think it's so important to hire a planner ahead of time if you are wanting a cohesive design, because we could help you plan it out not only creatively but logically as well. So since 2020, I think this one has increased and it's not going anywhere. And I'm talking about weddings during the week, weekday weddings. This is happening because of COVID. One, because of the pushbacks of wedding dates from COVID, a lot of venues have their prime dates taken up. Their Saturdays are filled, those Sundays are filled, even those Fridays are filled. So you're gonna, one, not have your prime date, two, probably not gonna have a weekend if you start planning later. And so couples are being forced to change their dates to a Wednesday, a Thursday. And I'm not just talking about eloping. Yes, I think with the increase of micro weddings and elopements over the last 2 years, those weekday weddings were just kind of a no-brainer for couples. They just wanted to get married and do the courthouse thing. But now I'm seeing regular, and when I say regular size weddings, you know, weddings of 100, 120, 150, do these weekday weddings because they just can't get the date at the venue that they want. So weekday weddings, I think you're going to see more and more of, and our wedding industry is working literally now around the clock. Vendors are being booked left and right. So just, you guys, I can't express this enough. If you are planning your wedding, don't procrastinate on planning, because you're not going to get you may not get, I should say, your first choice of dates, venue, or vendors. So that's just going to cause you stress, and I don't want you to be stressed out. So start planning ahead of time. Another big thing is that I've kind of seen on mixed articles, you have the Martha Stewart articles coming out, or Brides Magazine coming out, saying that destination weddings are going to be really big in 2022. I have to disagree wholeheartedly with this trend. I think a few reasons. One, traveling is still really tough right now. I can't tell you how many of my couples had to change their honeymoon plans. Not only their plans, they just canceled their honeymoon altogether. They had to change the country they were going to, because countries just kind of go in these extensive 10-day lockdowns. So if they only have 10 days for their honeymoon, they're not going to travel across seas essentially to be locked in and not enjoy their country that they're going to. So I think destination weddings are still going to be on a big pause, and they're so unpredictable to plan, and that's just causing you extra stress as a couple to plan a wedding, a destination wedding. And I mean destinations, so for here in the United States, going to Italy, going to France, these far away places that are absolutely beautiful that people would normally plan their destination weddings. I think we're going to see a shift in having them locally. Local destination weddings are going to happen, not far away places. And so for me, I live in Southern California. Cabo weddings are just going to be a huge trend on the rise. People are going to go to Arizona for their wedding. Southern California is going to go to Napa, and San Francisco is coming down to San Diego. So it's still a destination wedding that you're planning, which takes a local planner to certainly help you out with all the logistics. But it's locally, right? So you don't need a passport to go within the States. I think that's a huge relief. I actually planned our 2nd-year anniversary trip in August of last year. We went to Cancun, and it was a nightmare to renew my passport. I literally got it the day before we were going. It was so stressful just to go to Mexico and Cancun. So I just think, you know what, and I'm a go-getter, but play it safe when you're planning these destination honeymoons and weddings. Stay on top of what's going on in that country, and just be fully aware and present with anything that happens, and know that things could literally change in a snap. So it's not to scare you or prevent you from these plans, but I want you to be realistic with them as well, because you're also planning a wedding, and that's a lot to take on. So I want to talk about wedding guest size. Obviously, the word micro blew up in a very big way these last 2 years, and micro weddings were the thing. They still are a thing, but I think full size weddings are back. And I'm talking about, again, the 100-person weddings, 120, 150-person weddings. People are having them. They just don't care. They just want to have their wedding already. And a lot of people are not straying away or changing their plans for the micro wedding anymore. I still think you're going to see micro weddings and elopements happening, but I just think that weddings are back, and it's really exciting that people could have the wedding that they always envisioned and dream of. So I think micro is on the way out. It's going to be here for a little bit to stay, but by no means is it certainly just the norm anymore. But I will say that people that are having these micro weddings are planning them with macro details. So they're still going all out, even more than they would with the normal size weddings, with florals, with their 5-course dinner menu, with the matching china plates, with the upgraded glassware. So they're making it a really elegant and elevated experience on a micro size, but a macro design level, I would say. Florals. Let's talk about florals, because that's the fun part of wedding design, right? So speaking of talking about micro is out the door when it comes to florals. I am talking about macro when it comes to florals, and color. You are going to see a variety of different colors being used in weddings than ever before. And there's a couple reasons why. One, there are flower shortages in the world. Florists can literally not get certain types of varieties because of COVID. And this is just a trickle-down effect from everything that's happening, right? And that people probably don't think of. For instance, last year during the fall, there was a shortage of white flowers. Fall of 2021 was the busiest and heaviest season for us wedding pros since like 2015. And because everything got pushed back and everything reopened, right? And everything stopped shipping. So there was a shortage of white flowers. If you had white flowers for your wedding design, the cost tripled. It was so expensive to have them, and they were really hard to get, these like beautiful big blooms that we're used to seeing. So florists have changed their recipes and use different ingredients for arrangements, and they're using, instead of like flowers, they're using kind of more of these organic styles. Think of like gardeny. Cottage-Core is going to be really, really popular this year. A country core, anything blank core. And it's really kind of just melting these styles together. So it's not just these florals and blooms. And so it's creating organic textures and using more earth elements than the actual flower buds. So those are some of the reasons why you're seeing things on a micro level, and they're just building them out, the design, a little bit differently. But I love it. I love it. I love it. The trends that we're seeing with flowers right now. And that's why you're going to see just a lot more color. So I want to know from you guys, what do you think? Like, would you, people picture this white wedding, but what colors would you use? When you think of color for a wedding, what does that mean to you? Is it purple? Is it yellow? Is it orange? I keep saying orange is the new blush because I think blush is definitely kind of on the way out. It will always be there, but you're seeing a lot of oranges, a lot of reds, a lot of brightness, and a lot of tropical elements because you're using those greenery items more than the actual flowers. So those are the floral trends that I'm definitely seeing in 2022, and I am absolutely loving designing them. You're also seeing a lot of flowers that kind of were fillers become the main attraction. So I'm talking about baby's breath, but done in a modern way. I'm talking about hydrangeas, but kind of changed in a modern way. And again, you're seeing those statement pieces. So still a lot of greenery like eucalyptus and Italian ruscus, but it's not just on the table as a garland. I mean, it's coming up the walls. You're seeing it as installs over the chandelier. Greenery is just dripping everywhere to create that really cottagey garden-like flow. So that's what I'm seeing with flowers, and I think it's gonna be really, really fun. Let's talk about stationery. So stationery, and when I say stationery, I'm really talking about kind of save the dates in your final wedding invitations. I think you're just seeing more and more of these be digital, and which is too bad because I love and support our local calligraphers and stationery artists because I think they're brilliant and genius. That stuff takes so much time to do when they're custom made, and I think they're absolutely beautiful and one of the best ways that you could create a custom experience for you and your guests. But you're seeing a lot of them go digital, and that's because of the pandemic. You saw so many couples change their date. Now imagine, I mean, I had couples change their date up to 3 times. Imagine 3 physical invitations with stamps. The price of stamps went up in August of last year. That's a lot of money. So people are kind of opting just to go digital, RSVP online. I don't have to spend money on paper invites or taking a trip to the post office or paying for stamps for everyone or paying for that inner envelope for the guest to return in an extra stamp. It is a lot of work, and I'm not discouraging couples from doing it because I absolutely love stationery, and again, I love supporting our local artists, but I just think they're going to see more and more digital save the dates and wedding invitations. A great resource is Minted. I'll go ahead and drop my Minted code below so you guys could get 35% off your save the dates and wedding invitations. Please use it. Any money that I can help you save throughout your planning process is always great, right? Another macro item that I'm seeing is going to be entertainment. Again, people want to have their wedding and they're really kind of doing a wedding blowout. They're going all out. They want to entertain their guests. They want it to really stand out, or they've just been waiting to plan for so long. They want it to be different. And so entertainment things like bands are coming back big time. Live musicians are coming back. I see flip book stations instead of just the typical photo booth. I have bounce houses at some of my weddings this year. So much as far as entertainment and different items that you're bringing in that you would have never thought of before that would pertain to a wedding. People are just getting really creative with how they want to spend their money, and entertainment is going to be a very, very big one this year. And one of my favorite topics is attire. So you can't talk about weddings without talking about wedding gowns and tuxes and attire. So I think for wedding gowns, you're really seeing a shift from those lace style gowns that are more vintagey because weddings are definitely going more modern right now. Not as rustic, not as vintagey. Modern is the name of the wedding game. So you're really seeing that reflected in bride styles. And as far as wedding gowns, a lot of floral cutout patterns are replacing lace. You saw it with Paris Hilton when she got married this last year, and several other celebrity weddings that happened. A lot of designers are using these floral patterns. Again, it goes along with that country core, that cottage core, that garden style of wedding that's kind of cohesively happening in our industry. I think another dress trend is you're going to see very sleek, simple, modern styles of gowns. Big sleeves and tulle was huge last year, and you're still going to see the sleeves, but I think it's going to be less is more when it comes to wedding gown material, and you're going to see these just like sleek, modern fitted styles with brides. And then I think the material also you're going to see is a lot of sparkle. I see a lot of brides have two dresses and changing because they started planning pre-pandemic and they got a gown. They want a new one, or they don't love it as much for both the ceremony and reception, so they'll get a second one for the reception. So they'll get that sparkle wow factor for the reception, but maybe that more sleek modern style or romantic style for the ceremony. So I think that's what you're going to see as far as wedding gowns across the board. I think for tux or attire for men, I am seeing, I think a couple of years ago and last year, it was like very personalized fitted tuxes. They were more colorful for men. This year I'm honestly seeing just kind of simple black tuxes, and I think that's because that a lot of people have been working from home. They want to get dressed up. For men, they really just love their simple black fitted suit, and that makes them feel the sexiest. And so you're seeing a lot of that and kind of just letting their bride shine, and they're just like, listen, we've been through hell already. I just want a simple black tux. So I think you're going to see a lot more as far as groom style with that. So my friends, there you have it. Those are our 2022 wedding trend predictions from me, Tani Nolenberger, your favorite wedding planner, owner of Ivy Weddings and Events. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you surprised by any of these trends? Or is your wedding including some of these trends? What do you think? I want to hear from you. Again, I'm in the industry, so I see things. I think being in San Diego too, we're kind of one of the pioneers of when it comes to wedding trends. So we're really the first to do them and experience them and put them out into the world. And that's why I love being in the industry here. But anyway, I want to hear from you guys. Tell me what you think. I hope to see you next week. Thanks for stopping by. As always, stay creative and be legendary.